Hello there, thank you for letting me look at your roof. As you can see, this is a picture pretty much shows all of your roof, and you can see there's a big puddle on in the centre of it. I've been in, I've come up through this loft hatch. On the way up I took some photographs and there's some interesting information that I can share with you from there, but let's just have a look over it for you. First of all, the three air conditioning units that you can see here are not being used and can come off the roof at any time. You may have scaffolding or anything up. That's going to be quite complicated to get them off if you haven't got scaffolding because of their weight. Generally speaking, I've had a look at all the different roofs on here, and this is an asphalt roof that's been overlaid with mineral felt. I can see that because the roof over here on the right hand side is the only one out of the four roofs that hasn't been overlaid. Now, the age of the building is probably in the 1970s, 1980s, and this felt looks like it's been on for 6 years, something like that. So we get a sort of kind of age of what's going on. Obviously, they didn't overlay this roof if there wasn't a problem. So there was obviously a problem with the asphalt underneath it before they overlaid. And generally speaking, as we know, this roof isn't leaking, and we're just assessing the condition of the roof at the moment. One of the things which is quite obvious is that the only outlet, which is just here, is actually being compromised by the felt, and because it's the only outlet. One of the things that I'd make sure if it was my roof you did is to make sure this roof was very clean all the time, because if this gets bunged up around here, the water's going to back up, and if the water backs up, and as it backs up, it's going to fill this area up, move back, and then it's going to find holes into the joints of this felt, which aren't actually giving you a problem at the moment, but they could do if they were underwater and had a little bit of pressure. Now, I talked to you about the hatch here. If we just go and have a look at the photos I took as I came up through the hatch, and we can see the build up of the roof. So luckily enough, we can see that we've got timber joists, we've got a timber decking, which in this case is 18mm ply. It looks like we've got a nice vapor barrier just here, and that vapor barrier looks like it's a felt vapor barrier. We've only got 50mm of insulation, and on top of that we've got 25mm of asphalt. And this around here looks like someone's tried to stick the skylight down on top, and on the outside you saw that it has flashband around it, which isn't very good. So we're lucky on this particular case that we can see this build up, and we can see that the roof has been insulated at some point. Just one or two comments down here while I'm here. They've cut these supportive joists, and on the left hand side I can see that it sits onto a wall. On the right hand side I don't know what's supporting, so I would suggest that you get someone just to have a look at that, just to make sure that they haven't compromised the integrity of the roof. So if we go back outside and look at the roof out here, again, talking about this skylight around here, the repair done around here hasn't been done very well with this flashband. It's sort of looked at as a temporary repair, although this roof, you can see by the way the water's laying on it, this is a high point, so this could last for quite some time. So I wouldn't go rushing into repairing this, but realistically, if you had someone up here doing some work on the roof, I would suggest that you had this changed around here. And there's some kind of settlement that's gone onto this roof. This is where the timbers span, and the centre here will be the widest. We can see by the room layout inside there's nothing supporting this area underneath it, so a slight amount of movements happen to the timbers, and this has made this water sit on this particular area. Now again, it's not leaking at the moment, the roof, but however, this kind of felt is not designed to have standing water on it, but it's not a problem at the moment. And again, I wouldn't go rushing into changing this unless you really felt that you had the budget to do so. We look at everything else on this roof. We look at the lead across the back here, which looks relatively new compared with the lead around the edges here and here. Now, the lead on the edges either side, my only comment on that is that it is old lead, been there for quite some time, so should imagine it's been there since the 70s when the roof was first laid, and it's quite tall, which means there's a lot of weight which normally pulls it out of the joint at the top if it's not clipped in at the bottom correctly. However, on your roof it's actually sitting on this lip here, which is stopping it the weight from pulling it out on the top, and nowhere all the way around is it actually falling out, and it's very serviceable. only a small amount of maintenance over the next few years, and that lead would be okay. Actually, if we just look on the roof behind us and look along this area here, you can see the way that that lead is actually pulling out the wall on that one there. So that gives you an example of what could happen. But the lead on this roof is good. So generally, I would say that there's not too much of a problem with this roof. I'm not particularly worried about this standing water. It will only become a problem when it starts to leak, and at the moment there's no indication that that's going to be the case. If you need any more help or advice on this roof, you can get me. My name's Stephen from London Flat Roofing. Thank you.